Nostalgia Sports, Nostalgia Hoops. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Just got finished watching Maryland versus Iowa. Iowa number 22, Maryland number 13. And as we know, the big debate is going on. Who is the National Player of the Year? This was on ESPN and on the original video, which I did with Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston. I spoke about, for me, the big thing that mattered was how do you do against the good teams? How do you do when the national spotlight is on you? When you're on national television, you know everybody's watching. I'm not just fooled by stats. I want to see the context. So for me, the debate really ended today. Caitlin Clark is a good player. The numbers that she put up aren't easy to do. You still have to have some ability to do it, regardless of who you're doing it against. But when you compare the two, I just think under pressure, she is not the player of the year. I seen her affected too much tonight by the athleticism, by the speed, and she just early on didn't have the attitude of, I want this game, I want to make a statement. And it's not just all about scoring. Sometimes it's about the effort. I seen rebounds in her hand that she kind of just let go, and then I seen her teammates do the same thing because they're going to take on the attitude of her. When she got going, I think in the third, then everybody started getting hype and you started to see more effort. But early on, it was just too much. I don't know if they were intimidated or what was the deal. But Maryland came in, Angel Reese. You could tell that she understand the hype around Caitlin Clark. She's going to get everybody's best now because all the attention is on her. Everything on Twitter is about Caitlin Clark. So, especially being a white player, you're going to have to prove it. It's like, are you good or are you suburban good? That's the question. And that was same thing. All the great white players had to go through it. Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas said, "Is he good?" And they like, "No." And everybody agreed that Larry was the real deal. Everybody agreed that Luka is the real deal. Now the question is going to be within the black community and I know these are uncomfortable topics, but this is just is the real. Are you good or are you suburban good? Because when you come down to, and y'all had home court advantage, but you're going to play a different attitude that isn't impressed by your stats, that isn't impressed by the highlights, that you're going to have to show them that you really like that. And tonight she didn't show them that she was really like that. She turned it on a little bit in the third, but you got to come out early and make that statement like you hear you the real deal, and you're not going to let that physical play, you're not going to let the speed, you still going to play your game. And I don't just blame her. I don't think the teammates, like I said, you have the separation is, South Carolina is a powerhouse. The teammates she's playing with isn't, all high level, not disrespecting their game, but we understand that, but I would say her bigs weren't scared. O'Grady, I like everything I seen from her. She put up 8.6 rebounds, 4 or 5 from the field. I would give her a lot more time. And uh, Cezano, she put up 16 and 5, 7 to 10. But Caitlin Clark, 7 to 25, 3 of 13 from three, 19.6 rebounds, 6 assists. A lot of people get fooled by that. Like, oh, that's still a pretty good game, but it's just inefficient. And a lot of the shots were crazy. It was like, I don't like what I seen from the coaching. It was not like later on they start pick and rolling and running things, but early on it was just like pace and space, or just giving everybody space out and let her ISO. But she isn't quick enough or doesn't have the move. She's not an Iriki, where she can break somebody down in a small space. Her game is more. using your momentum and creating space. It's a light step back and creating space. But when you have quick, long players, that's not going to work. When you have players that's not buying into your height, that's not going to work. And tonight, 7 to 25, 3 of 13, and she was making very lazy passes. Like it's 10 turnovers. I mean, this was a horrible game. You 10. I mean, that's you. I don't know what's going. Like I said, the end of the schedule was all ranked teams, and I think they have to run it back with this Maryland team. But I don't think you can win it in my book at this point. I mean, you lost to every ranked team. She's lost to every ranked team that she's played thus far. In a game like this, you just not slowing down. It's like she only has one speed. If I'm coaching or training, I'm working on her reaction time because it's a bit slow. That's why she missed some of those shots. Like she would wait a half a second too late and then pull up when the closeout was there. You had to pull it a half a second earlier. So I would be working on her reaction time. As soon as you get space, pull up. That's what I'm working on in practice. Working on drills with even when you're not shooting, that you just getting off quick. As soon as you see the light, hit the light. She has to start to think at a fast pace at the high level. If she's going to carry, she's getting the attention, and I'm putting this type of pressure and burden on her because she's getting the attention. She's the one that can bring a lot of people to the sport. A lot of casuals had me tune in, but she has to perform in these big games, and that's going to take her slowing it down. Don't be sped up. Like, it would be times where she would just try to run full speed, and it's like, where you going? These players are faster than you. They're more athletic. So it's best that you just stay at your speed and see what's going on and make the best play. And like I said, for me, she could have had 15 assists tonight, forced a double team. But that's why I say the coach played a part, and her guards didn't really help her at all either. So it seemed like they were intimidated as well. The passing it into the bigs was very sloppy by everybody. What they have as a team, 19 turnovers as a team. She had 10 of them. It just wasn't a poised performance by the whole outside of the bigs. I like what the bigs did, but everybody else, it just was poor preparation, poor adjustments, too late adjustments. I like the defensive adjustments by Iowa in the second quarter. I mean, the third quarter, the second half, they started to slow Maryland down. They started to take Angel Reese out the game, but Angel came out hot, and that's how a player of the year plays. When you know somebody isn't supposed to be guarding you, you pick them apart. Same way we've seen with Joel and B, when Allen was on them or whoever else, they all got the business. Reese, it didn't matter who was on her, 9 of 15, 7 of 11 from the free throw line, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. 25 points. She went out there and got busy. She knew the lights was on, and she took that challenge. I just would like to see her work on her shot, and I want to see her hitting that consistently and comfortably. um, yeah, man, I see why Don Steady was frustrated with this conversation because it shouldn't really even be a conversation. I do see a racial aspect, kind of like I see in boxing. Like, women's basketball is still a place where you can have a white star, and you don't see that in the male sports as much. Male basketball is pretty much dominated by the black players. So I do see, and even on ESPN after the game, there was like still a celebration, but it's no way a black player could have had 10 turnovers and lose all games against ranked teams and still be celebrated. This wouldn't even be a conversation, and that's why I will say I apologize to Leah Boston and Don Staley, because it is a disrespectful conversation. Caitlin is flashy. Caitlin has the highlights, and she's young, so I'm not trying to be too harsh, but this is just it's a bigger issue at play right now, and we all need to be supporting Aaliyah Boston because she's doing something great. She's doing something historic. She's consistently doing it at the high level against high level competition, not folding under pressure. Yes, I understand there is more talent around her. Don Staley is a better coach than Caitlin has, but Caitlin also as a star, at some point the X's and O's go out the window. And you have to be smart enough to say, even if the coach not doing, hey, come set me a pick. These ISOs not working. Come set me a pick. Oh, coach, this, and that. What do you see out there? Don't just go out there and be a player. You have to show some dog. You have to show some grit. You have to show you want it. And I just didn't see a player of the year attitude. This was not that. They're going to show you the highlights, everything, the shots. They're going to go viral. But it bad shot taker, inefficient, turnover machine. The same thing. They talk about Westbrook till the cows go home. No way. It's just no way. This is disrespectful. And man, shout out to Maryland. They played a very good game, had a very good strategy. Their defense was just on point. Shout out to Angel Reese. Just set the tone from the beginning. She was talking to her team. I didn't see that from Caitlin. Sophomore, 6'3", 17.5, 10 rebounds a game. Like, everything that a leader is supposed to be. Angel Reese exemplified tonight, and Caitlin learn from this game, grow from this game. It's not the end of the world, but there are a lot of holes in Caitlin's game that she can go from, and I will just watch this film a lot and try to become a better player. And if I'm Iowa, the head, I like the defense from the coach in the third quarter, the adjustments, but offensively, come on now, it shouldn't have taken that long to start running picks. You seen these girls were not as athletic and they couldn't just get by and get an open shot and get space. You should have been running picks earlier, and everything from Caitlin didn't have to be from the top of the floor. She could have been starting from the corner. You got to put her in different spots. Everything can't be predictable. They know they just know, man. I'm just a little disappointed from this game, but shout out to Maryland, man. Y'all came in and handled business, and I look forward to seeing more games from Maryland and Angel Gray. Caitlin, work on your game, work on your attitude. It's not the end of the world, but player of the year right now for me is Aliyah Boston. Nostalgia Sports, Nostalgia Hoops. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Appreciate everybody that does tune in. Happy Valentine's Day 2022, February 14th. I'm out.